We are reading the entire Bible. Welcome. Come on in. And we are here every morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Time, reading the Bible, the Apocrypha, and the Pseudipigrapha. Pardon me. I'm Reverend Valerie Love, your hostess with the mostest. And hold for a moment. Hold for a moment. I have something for us today that blends beautifully with the Merkaba mysticism we are reading about in the book of Enoch. If you did not yet recognize that this is Merkaba mysticism, oh, I got something for us. I got something for us today. Okay, now before we go into that, I am Reverend Valerie Love, author of 26 books on practical spirituality, Christian witchcraft, and the occult, metaphysics, all of the things that make you or inspire you and equip you and tool you to become the God self. Welcome and own all your power. Take back your mind from all the institutions and entities who sought to disrupt your sovereignty and come home to yourself, your God self. That's what we're all here to do. I love you. I love you. I love you. We're not reading the Bible every morning because we think the Bible came from God. We're reading the Bible because we know the Bible that is not from God. And now we are reading the Bible to determine exactly what the Bible is. We know we were taught what the Bible is when we were in Christianity. And now we are coming to our own conclusions about what the Bible is. If that is of concern to you, it's of great concern to me to unravel the things that I've been taught. Before we go any further, oh, you have a few of my books. Thank you so much. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. I always love to hear that. Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday. How you loving? How you loving? How you loving? Before we go further, why were the Ethiopians able to preserve the Bible better than anyone else on the planet? Why is it that the Protestants, Baptists, Episcopalian, Methodists, all of the Protestant religions have the fewest number of Bible books? They have the smallest Bible canon. Why? And why do we not pay homage to our Ethiopian brothers and sisters who were able to preserve the entire corpus that would come to be known one day as the Ethiopian Bible? How were they able to preserve this? And it did not get preserved in Europe, and it did not get preserved in the Americas after Europe. What happened? What's the story there? So I knew that part of it was geography because I had heard tell of Ethiopian monasteries that are on the top of mountains, and the marauders or colonizers or warmongers or whoever was coming through to rampage and take over the place couldn't quite reach all the way up to the tops of some of these summits because some had to be reached by rope. Literally, that's how steep it was. And the armies were like, I don't think we're doing that. It's not that important for us to get to the top of that thing over there. They were like, no, we're not doing that. So I knew that there was a geographic aspect to How were the Ethiopians able to preserve the Bible? How were they able to do this? So, of course, I asked ChatGPT, and of course, as we know around here, we don't take everything ChatGPT says for, don't take any AI at what it says. You've got to fact check it, you've got to give it context. Sometimes the AI is very dumb, and sometimes the AI flat out lies. And sometimes the AI tells you what you want to hear. So you've got to get past all of that to really pull the facts. It's a little bit of a dance when you're working with AI. Never take the first thing it says for face granted, because for never take the first thing it gives you at face value or for granted that it is true, because it is not. A lot of times it's not. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. To roll of the dice, I guess AI will get better and better and better as we go. Let's go to what I pulled up with regard to this very important question. I had a conversation with ChatGPT about this because this was an absolutely fascinating, what would I want to call it? Over the years, it's a fascinating unfoldment. How did the Ethiopians do this? How did they do this? How did the Ethiopians do what Europe could not do? Europe failed in bringing us the whole Bible. They didn't do it. You're and going past Europe burned so much, destroyed so much. The Romans couldn't do it because they were burning and rampaging and pillaging and destroying. Yet Ethiopia became the beacon and the custodian of this group of writings that have come to be known as the Ethiopian Bible. It's not that the Ethiopian Bible is bigger than the Catholic Bible or the Protestant Bible, is that the Ethiopian Bible never got shrunk. The Protestant Bible is shrunken, edited. They took things out. The Catholic Bible, same thing that we inherit from the Roman Catholic Church, shrunken down. They argued and bickered over what should be in and what shouldn't be in. In Ethiopia, they allowed it all to exist and they turned it into liturgy. All of the books were useful. And once you turn it into liturgy and the people are using it, then the books get recopied, which in Europe and then eventually over to the Americas, if the books are not used, who's going to copy them? And we need people to copy them until the printing press came out. So if it's not being used, why are we even writing these things? And that's how books go extinct, because people are not using them. People are not reading them. The church is not using it in liturgy. It's not being spread around anymore. And it falls out of popularity. And because the scribe had to write out every single word, and that was a long, painstaking process, why would we write something that no one's going to write or use? These are scarce resources, both physical and human. The manuscript, a handmade script. We have to write this out. We're not going to keep writing out things. It's too precious time of a scribe. It's too precious to write out things that are not going to be read by the masses and not going to be used. We're not doing that. In Ethiopia, they used it. They used all the books. It was part of devotion. It was part of liturgy. The people had it. They all circulated widely. Hence, they continue to be written out. And not only were they being recopied, when your old one starts to fall apart, you get a new one made, right? Not only were they writing them out? The scribes were writing them with a depth of devotion because they held these works as divine, all of them. So, can you see that the care that a scribe would have in Ethiopia? I'm not saying all the other scribes didn't have this, I'm not saying that at all. That these scribes would be in an experience of, and not every scribe, I'm talking about the zeitgeist, what was in the zeitgeist, that the scribe would be copying it with the utmost care because they have elevated these works to liturgy and there is devotion involved, sacredness. Does everyone understand that? I think so. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Happy Friday! Happy Friday. Next, let's go to the conversation I had with AI about these mountaintop cathedrals where the corpus of many of these writings were held, some of them so high you had to actually climb it with a rope, and only priests were up there writing out the manuscripts. And when the one started to decay, create another one, create an exact copy. This, why is it every church at the beginning of every conversation, when they pick up a Bible, I don't have a Bible near me, actually, it's right there on my altar. When they pick up a Bible, why don't they say, this is a pared down version? This is the result of redaction, editing, arguing about what should be in it and what shouldn't. Yeah, we do know that there is a fuller version of this housed in Ethiopia, and we are so thankful for our Ethiopian brothers and sisters who preserve these writings for us, in addition to the ones we have here in our hands. Let's go to the AI conversation about this. Here's my question to the AI. How were the Ethiopians able to preserve the biblical text so well? I've heard of priests on mountaintops as one way this occurred. So I know that one way this occurred, I'd heard about it. One way this occurred is because of, once again, geography. Geography plays a big role in history, a big role. All right. Uh, yes, geographic isolation is a natural. Look at this priest just wasping about on the side of a cliff, like, yeah, this is what I do every day. I'm just going inside the temple now. Who in the world is going to be doing that? Right? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait a minute. Temples way up in the rocks. Okay. So you're getting the idea now. Look at this. What? Look at this. Look at this priest. What? Who's doing that? Baby, not me. I'm sorry. I don't love the church that much. I love y'all. I don't love you that much. Okay. Ethiopia's rugged highlands created natural protection. Many monasteries were built on mountaintops or cliff faces. One is Debre Damo, which can only be reached by climbing a rope up a sheer cliff. Invaders had difficulty accessing these sites. The people who were coming in and burning everything and pillaging everything and destroying everything, like they were in Rome, and sacking cities and burning down cities and war just to take over. They couldn't do the same thing there in Ethiopia. Like, it was just very difficult to do that. Climate in these highlands, dry and stable, which is very good for these manuscripts. So yes, you did have priests and monks on mountains playing a role. Now, obviously, that's not the only factor. That is a big factor. That is helpful. The geography and the priests were up there and they were native to the geography, so the geography wasn't a problem for them. Continuous scribal culture. Ethiopia didn't just store texts, they copied them continuously. I want to hip you to another thing that AI does. This is how you can always tell that you're reading AI. Hold on for a second. You do you ever notice how AI says it isn't just so and so, it's so and so. They didn't just da da da. They da da da. This isn't just da da da. This is da da da. I don't know why it does that. I don't know why. Who programmed? Can we call the programmers together of AI? Tell it to stop freaking doing that. That's not how people talk. When you read a post on Facebook and then you read, this isn't just a demolition of the mock, this isn't just a mere cessation. This is a demolition. Oh, AI. Oh, here we go. Here we go. That's an aside. Let's go back to, I just want to get over that little AI verbiage thing it does. I don't know why it does that. Anyway, let's continue. You can always tell when you're reading AI. You can always tell when you're reading AI. Okay. Manuscripts were written in years, a classical liturgical language. This is liturgy. This is being used in worship, devotion. Texts were copied by hand for centuries. When one manuscript deteriorated, it was recopied. So, in other words, they had a thriving, living, scribal culture continuously. They kept writing them. And unlike parts of Europe, where certain texts were lost during wars or reforms, Ethiopian Christianity experienced fewer disruptions in its manuscript transmission line. So it was a purer line and it was a fuller line. And of course, they go on to talk about the different books in their religious and political continuity in the kingdom of Aksum. Now, Christianity became the state religion of the kingdom of Aksum in the 4th century. The region was never colonized in the same way as much of Africa. Not all of Africa, with the exception of brief Italian occupation in the 20th century. There was no Protestant Reformation in Ethiopia to remove books from the canon. Islamic expansion surrounded Ethiopia, but it didn't erase the Ethiopian Christian core. Christianity goes deep in Ethiopia and it goes all the way back to the 4th century. The kingdom of Aksum. So if you have religious continuity and you have political continuity, and the religion is the state religion of the kingdom, it can continue without cessation, pretty much as it has for centuries. Compare that to the destruction of texts and the Roman persecutions, later theological purges, European wars, colonial library burnings. Ethiopia remained relatively insulated. Of course, as I spoke of, they have a sacred view of scripture. They are mountaintop priests. And so here's what we got. We have continuity. We have some isolation. We have geography. We have liturgical embedding. We have scribal devotion. So as you put all of these factors together, we now come to understand why the Ethiopian Bible, which includes Enoch, which we are reading, is so complete, so robust, and we should not say the Ethiopian Bible has more books than ours. It's the reverse. Our book, our Bible with the 66 books, is a pared down version. I just hope everyone understands that. that we have the edited version. We shouldn't look at them like they have a bigger version. No, they have a more accurate version, and we have an edited, warred over, dissected, discussed, argued over, burned up, shreds. We have leftovers. If you have a Bible that is 66 books, baby, that's the leftovers. You done miss probably about 20, 30 books if you want all the books. And who can say all the books? It's probably way more than that. What I am speaking of is what our Ethiopian family would call the Bible. That's what I'm speaking of. Yeah. Those priests were the hardcore devotees, weren't they? But I'm giving my props to the photographers who captured those moments. For us to see this magnificent spectacle, isn't that the truth? Baby, I would have sent up a drone. I would be like, oh, that's where you're going? Look, me as a photographer, baby. Drone, you got all the footage. I would be standing on the ground looking at what the drone has captured. Okay, that's enough. Let's go. My goodness, those priests. That's a good point, Dia. Baby. Angel, we got the leftovers. That's what we have. And we ought to be aware that we are operating with leftovers and not think we have the whole thing. Oh, no, baby, you don't have the whole thing. You got leftovers. But why did they never tell us that in church? Why did they never tell us that, well, there were other books that were with these books? First of all, why didn't they tell us the whole story? That's what I want to know. Why didn't they tell us the whole story? Biblical leftovers. Don't you love it? It's like when you go and you get the lasagna pan the next day, and the lasagna is nice and firm and hard up, and you look at the lasagna, you know you don't have the whole lasagna. Part of it was cut away. You can easily see that part of the lasagna was already, maybe half of it is already gone. I would say a third. I would say we have maybe 60%, 66%. That's pretty scary. And why? Let's go all the way back when. Let's go all the way back. No one who was writing a Bible, this is very important for us to understand about the Bible, about what we call the Bible, okay? This is very important to understand. No one who was writing, first of all, we don't know who wrote it. No one who was writing it thought they were writing a Bible that someone would walk around with 2,300 years later, 2,500 years later, 3,000 years later, and clutch to their chest like it was the be-all, end-all word of God. No one who was writing it thought that we would behave this way 3,000 years later. They did not think we would be behaving this way. So that's the first thing. We have just got fanatical with this book, clutching it. Oh, don't put it on the bed. Don't put it on the floor. And then Christians try to act like they're not superstitious, like all the quote unquote pagans, like all the people who came before them. Y'all are hella superstitious Christians, because you don't put the Bible on the floor. You revere the Bible. If somebody burns the Bible, you want to fall out and have a fit when it's just a book. There's so much meaning and emotion and devotion and human energy on these collection of books for thousands of years. So much that we have elevated this thing above ourselves. We're not doing that. So if you go all the way back, it wasn't a group of texts all together. It wasn't like that. There was some over here in this place. There was some over here in this place circulating around. There's a couple of different Genesis going around. Yes, 2 different versions of Genesis. We read Genesis 1 and Genesis 2. They say 2 different things. We read 2 flood stories. They say 2 different things. We read it. There's even two different genealogies in Genesis for, I'll show it to you. Hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute. I just learned this the other day from Dr. Dan McClellan. I love Dan McClellan. I like him a lot as a Bible scholar. Let me show you something that Dan McClellan showed me. I said, oh my goodness, this is craziness. Look at this. Let me show you something. Do you know that the book of Genesis has two different genealogies for Adam? Take a picture, take a screenshot. Take a screenshot. Dan McClellan, I'm crediting this to its proper owner, Dan McClellan, on his TikTok. Please look him up. Dan McClellan. Dan McClellan created this, not Kaisi. I quickly grabbed a screenshot. Do you see that the writer of one of these doesn't know anything about Cain? It's got Adam, Seth, Enoch, Kenan, which he said may be Cain, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, Noah, Shem, Ham, Japheth. The other one says Adam, Cain, Enoch, Irad, Mehujael, Methushael, Lamech, Jabal, Jubal, and Tubal-Cain. It's two different genealogies. And he said one of the people that wrote the genealogies doesn't know about the flood, and the other person that wrote about the genealogies doesn't know about Cain and Abel. How do we have two different Genesis? Well, we read them. They're still there. Start with Genesis 1 and Genesis 2. They're different. They did a mashup. Well, let's just do a mashup. Maybe no one will notice. And guess what? Lo and behold, people didn't really notice because they didn't really talk about it. It's the first and second chapter in the entire Bible. The thing starts off bifurcated. And the Didelsia, the normal Christian family are zombies. Oh my goodness. What is happening here? What is happening here? Okay, what is happening here? Okay. So I say all that to say Genesis one version of Genesis was floating around in one place. Another completely different version of Genesis was floating around in another place. When the ones who put the Torah together, also known as the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible, Genesis through Deuteronomy, supposedly written by Moses, no, that didn't happen, supposedly written by Moses, which could not have happened for many reasons, that when they put these books together, they just kind of merged them in, and didn't fix all the errors. So when they merged them in, and now later on, historical Bible scholars are reading it and saying, well, this is 2 or 3 or 4 different things. Why would one book, Genesis, say 2 or 3 or 4 different versions of things? Why would that be? So they came up with the idea of the documentary hypothesis. And the documentary hypothesis posits that, yes, smash up the likes. Thank you. Posits that there were 4 sources for the book of Genesis as we have it today. P, E, D, and J. The priestly source is P. J is the Yahwistic source. J stands for, well, J, there was no J originally. J was added later. So when you see J, it used to be a Y. So Y is the Yahwist source, and the Y got changed later to J, as in Jehovah, Yahweh morphs. The J source is the Yahwists, a group of people that were the Yahwists. They had one version. The priests, P, the P version, they had the priestly version. They're very interested in rituals and ceremonies and things like that, all the things you see in Deuteronomy. The E version were the Elohists, or they're the Elohim people, Notice when Genesis switches from Yahweh to Elohim, and the Elohim did this, and the Elohim said this, and the Elohim, you're reading the E portion, version of the same story, the Elohist version. They're all about Elohim. You see that the names change. We read that. We read this in Genesis. All of a sudden, God is Elohim, Elohim, Elohim. And then in another chapter, it's Yahweh, 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 Yahweh. This is different. And then the D, P, J, E, and D. D is Deuteronomistic. In other words, Deuteronomy, Deuteronomistic. Let that word flow off your tongue. It's a Deuteronomistic source. I'm butchering that word. Anyway, it's more of law. It's more of law. So P, J, E, and D. Now, not all Bible scholars subscribe to the documentary hypothesis. And the documentary hypothesis is a hypothesis because we don't know why Genesis says 2 and 3 and 4 different things from Genesis to Deuteronomy. We don't know why it says 2 and 3 and 4 different things about the same events. We don't know. So Bible scholars are doing the best they can to come up with a reason why. Why would this be so? And it sounded reasonable to me that it just came from different places, from different groups of people who held things differently in their consciousness. And somewhere around the 3rd century, 4th century BCE, during Babylonian captivity, or maybe somewhere between 300 and 600 BCE, they redacted and they put it all together. They started working on these things and they put Genesis through Deuteronomy together. And they started, and they said it was written by Moses, right? And they came up with the Exodus stories. Yet they didn't write these stories in a void. They wrote these stories in Mesopotamia and slightly beyond, which means the core of many of these stories are Mesopotamian, Sumerian tales, stories that would have been circulating among everyone. Just like everyone knows who Trump is. So if you wrote a story about an orange-haired president, everyone would know who you're talking about. Or orange president. If you describe a president of the United States that's orange, all you have to do is say orange and president. Everybody would know who that is. Living now. If you said that 1,000 years from now, people would say, no one's orange. Why were they calling this man orange? They would be trying to dissect us, just like we are trying to dissect people who were living 2,000-3,000 years ago. So first they got Genesis to Deuteronomy together, and that was it. That was it. Other than that, as a collection, other than that, we just had books floating all around. A scroll for Isaiah, a scroll for this thing, a scroll for Nahum, a scroll for Ezekiel, a scroll over there for. It wasn't all put together. So that also was a process of pulling these things together. And then people arguing about which ones are from God and which ones are not from God. And then people saying, well, I like this one, I don't like that one. And then the people disagreed and there were wars. And then they went in, they burned certain places like the Library of Alexandria. And then they went and they burned books and manuscripts of people they didn't agree with. All of that was going on in Europe. The Europeans were doing that. Ethiopia wasn't doing that. Ethiopia wasn't being crazy like everybody else. Ethiopia wasn't doing that. Yes. Okay. Did you know that the wife of God, Asherah, was erased from the Bible? She was originally mentioned in there 40 times. She never got erased. I love this, Curtis. I love this. And an excellent book on this is When God Had a Wife. Excellent book, Asherah. Yahweh, yeah, and we talk about Asherah a lot. We talk about all the goddesses a lot. Asherah never got erased. She got renamed. She was never erased. Manosphere is she was never erased. There's no such thing as a patriarchy. Goddess worship continued in Judaism. It's to this day. To this day, goddess worship continues in Judaism. To this day, Jewish people, if you talk to Jewish people still say to this day that the female soul is closer to God than the male soul. To this day, I've heard many Jewish people say that. In Kabbalah and Judaism, that the Jewish people revere the divine feminine. It just morphed and changed how they talk about it. The goddess is still there. The goddess couldn't go anywhere. You cannot erase a goddess. Everyone was born of a goddess. The goddess lives in every person. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a goddess, right? So yes, Curtis, you are absolutely right that the name changed. The essence is still there. Christianity has a goddess too. Christianity has many goddesses. The goddess that Christianity currently has is Mary, the mother of Jesus. You go into every church in Rome, and if you don't see Jesus hanging on the cross, guess what you see? Every church I went to in Rome, guess what you see? The mother with the baby. Pure goddess worship looks exactly like Isis holding Heru. The Jews, the Greeks called him Horus. His original name, Heru in Kemet. The goddess is still right there. You can't even confess to a priest your sins without him telling you how many Hail Marys to say in order for you to get yourself right. No one can tell me the goddess went anywhere. The goddess went nowhere. She just got renamed, and the goddess doesn't care whether you call her this name or that name or whatever, because the goddess is like all women, still doing the things we do. As people are saying, women are not powerful, we're pushing out babies. As people are saying, women and the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. If you don't know about the divine feminine, get into it. Get into it. Don't believe what people have told you. Yes, you have When God Had a Wife, Curtis. Yes, 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 yes. It's so good. It's so good. And it's very scholarly. And that book, When God Had a Wife, let's bring it up for you on Amazon, because family, if you do buy on Amazon with my links, I am so thankful to you for that. As you can see, I was planning my next witchcraft kit that I'm buying. That's what I was on. So let me give you the I'll give you the link to the witchcraft kit because yes, I'm about to buy it again. I bought it already and it is so good. Okay, as an Amazon influencer, I'm compensated when you use my Amazon links, and I so thank you for shopping my Amazon links. I'm compensated with commissions on qualifying purchases without it costing you any more. When God Had a Wife. This book is so good. It is so good. I have the paperback. It is so good. And notice it says the fall and rise of the sacred feminine. The sacred feminine never went anywhere. Never went anywhere. Couldn't go anywhere. When God Was a Woman. I love that one too. Okay. Hashtag paid link. Thank you so much for shopping my Amazon affiliate links. I so appreciate you. That is freaking awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So we've got to examine these things, family. Yes. We've got to read books and look at our experience. Well, this book says the patriarchy, and I'm looking right now at every single church that I go to in Rome, and there's a huge Mother Mary up there. I don't mean a little Mother Mary. I mean a huge Mother Mary. Not only that, but wait, there's more. Let me see if I can find a picture of some of this for Rome for you, because this is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm going to see if I can find a picture for you from my travels in Rome, uh, so that you can see, because I certainly did take pictures, being wanting to be very honorable. Let's see. I don't have the picture of inside of a. Let's see. Venice, Italy, Lisbon, Portugal, Rome, Selena, Paros. There's my 2022 adventures. Egypt. Wow, I was all over the place in 2022. Let's see. Athens. Okay. I do not see that a picture of Rome. I'm going to tell you, I actually worship Asherah, Sophia, Lilith. Yes! Oh, you are right up our alley. I just did a video about the dark goddess, knowing how if the dark goddess is calling you. It's going crazy right now on the Christian Witches TikTok. It's going crazy. It's got like 76,000 views or something like that. Yes, it's going crazy. And all the comments of all the people who work with the dark goddess, I just love it. Hecate or Hecate, depending on how you say it. Lilith, the Morrigan. Baby, me and the Morrigan are having a conversation now that is just delicious. Okay, anyway. Not only is Mother Mary the goddess of Christianity, when you go into a goddess of Christianity, not the goddess, Christianity has more than one goddess. When you go into any church in Rome and you see Mother Mary in her glory, sometimes she has a crown on her head, holding the baby Jesus, a reiteration of the goddess Isis. The goddess never left. She just keeps reinventing herself. Okay, you want me to be named Mary now? Go right ahead. I don't mind if you call me Mary. Mary holding the baby Jesus as Isis held the baby, or Osset in her original name before the Greeks changed it to Isis. The Greeks named her Isis, or that's how they pronounced it, holding her baby, Horus, who the Greeks called Horus, Heru, or Set in Kemet holding Heru. And you have it in church right now with Mother Mary holding baby Jesus. Look it up. This is not just a random witch on YouTube. You don't have to believe me. Look it up. The goddess never left. And not only does the goddess have this huge statue in many, many churches in Rome, I walked into them. Wow. Not only that, every day people are bringing flowers for her shrine. Baby, get into it. This is beautiful. They're bringing flowers. Mother Mary was sitting there holding the baby. It was flowers, all fresh flowers. People are coming in bringing her flowers in an incredible shrine. And you just walk in and it's like, you can just feel the energy emanating from the goddess. The goddess was like, yeah, whatever religion y'all change to, I'll be there too. You cannot leave behind the goddess. You cannot get rid of the goddess. The goddess never left. She lives in every heart with the God. The God and goddess lives in every heart. The God and goddess is in everything. You can't get rid of the goddess. So don't believe people who tell you that. They don't know what they're talking about. Oh, Christo paganism. I love that. Yes, we are Christian witches around here. Yes, indeed. Christo paganism. Actually, Curtis, there's an excellent book called Christo paganism. It is an excellent book by the Higginbothams. Let me pull that up. Christo paganism by the Higginbothams. Let me make sure that I'm saying their name correctly. And on Amazon, Crystal Paganism. I don't know if you've ever read this book. This one right here. It is so good. Crystal Paganism, An Inclusive Path. It is so good. Yes, Joyce Higginbotham and River Higginbotham. It's really nice. It's a couple that practices crystal paganism. Really nice. I love this book. Hold on, I will drop it in the link also for you all here. Hashtag paid link. Thank you so much for shopping my Amazon affiliate links. I so appreciate you for that. I saw those very, look at this. Look at this. Here we go. I saw those very statues in Rome, also in Greece. I was awestruck. Boom. That's where the Christian church was born. So if a Protestant person is watching this and they say, well, that's why we left. That's why we broke away in the Protestant Reformation from the Roman Catholic Church, because we didn't like all that magic and goddess worship they were doing over there. Okay, well, you were born out of the mother's womb and you want to think you're something else. You want to think you're divorced from it, but it's okay. Then let's just take that on and let's just deal with that. Christians who are Protestant, the result of the Protestant Reformation. So you say you don't have the goddess. What's Proverbs 31? What's the entire book of Proverbs? In your Bible, the entire book of Proverbs is a woman. The Proverbs come from a woman. She is called wisdom, also known as Sophia, also known as the goddess of the Gnostics. Sophia is wisdom, insight, the highest of the high divine being, feminine. She's right in your book, Proverbs. Proverbs is wisdom, is Sophia, is the goddess. It's right in front of your eyes, yet most Christians don't know what they're looking at, don't know what they're thinking about. Curtis, excellent. Love that. Christians don't know their own religion. Christians have goddesses. They want to act like they are completely separate from that which they were birthed out of, which is Roman Catholicism, which was birthed out of paganism. And they want to say that they have nothing to do with all of that, yet they were birthed out of it. They're in a lineage. Okay, if you want to be delusional about your faith, that's okay. Enoch 3. Let's go. Chapter 7. Enoch raised upon the wings of the Shekinah or Shekinah to the place of the throne, the Merkabah, and the angelic hosts. Now, I will say something about Shekinah. That is also a feminine aspect of God, also known as Shekinah. In Baptist church, you hear us say Shekinah. I've heard Jewish people say Shekinah. We say Merkabah. I've heard them say Merkabah. So we will say it the way that I say it from the Baptist church, honoring that this is not the pronunciation from Jewish people. The Shekinah and the Merkabah. Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the angel, the prince of the presence, said to me, when the Holy One, blessed be he, took me away from the generation of the flood, he lifted me on the wings of the wind of Shekinah to the highest heaven and brought me into the great palaces of the Araboth Raquia on high, where are the glorious throne of Shekinah, the Merkabah, the troops of anger, the armies of vehemence, the fiery Shin Anim, the flaming cherubim, and the burning Ophanim, the flaming servants, the flashing chasmatim, and the lightning seraphim, and he placed me there to attend the throne of glory day after day. Wow. Chapter 8. The gates. of the treasuries of heaven opened to Metatron. Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the prince of the present, said to me, before he appointed me to attend the throne of glory, the Holy One, blessed be he, opened to me 300,000 gates of understanding, 300,000 gates of subtlety, 300,000 gates of life, 300,000 gates of grace and loving kindness, 300,000 gates of love, 300,000 gates of Torah, 300,000 gates of meekness, 300,000 gates of maintenance, 300,000 gates of mercy, 300,000 gates of fear of heaven. In that hour, the Holy One, blessed be he, added in me wisdom unto wisdom, understanding unto understanding, subtlety unto subtlety, knowledge unto knowledge, mercy unto mercy, instruction unto instruction, love unto love, loving kindness unto loving kindness, goodness unto goodness, meekness unto meekness, power unto power, strength unto strength, might unto might, brilliance unto brilliance, beauty unto beauty, splendor unto splendor. And I was honored and adorned with all these good and praiseworthy things more than all the children of heaven. Chapter 9. Enoch receives blessings from the Most High and is adorned with angelic attributes. Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the prince of the present, said to me, after all these things, the Holy One, blessed be he, put his hand upon me and bless me with 5,360 blessings. Baby, I'm going to use that in a spelling ritual. Baby, come on. And I was raised and enlarged to the size of the length and width of the world. And he caused 72 wings to grow on me, 36 on each side, and each wing was as the whole world. And he fixed on me 365 eyes. Each eye was the great luminary. And he left no kind of splendor, brilliance, radiance, beauty in of all the lights of the universe that he did not fix on me. Chapter 10. God places Metatron on a throne at the door of the seventh hall and announces through the herald that Metatron henceforth is God's representative and ruler over all the princes of kingdoms and all the children of heaven, save the 8 high princes called YHWH by the name of their king. Rabbi Ishmael said, Metatron, the prince of the presence, said to me, all these things the Holy One, blessed be he, made for me. He made me a throne similar to the throne of glory, and he spread over me a curtain of splendor and brilliant appearance, of beauty, grace, and mercy, similar to the curtain of the throne of glory, and on it were fixed all kinds of lights in the universe. And he placed it at the door of the seventh hall and seated me on it. And the herald went forth into every heaven, saying, this is Metatron, my servant. I have made him into a prince and a ruler over all the princes of my kingdoms and over all the children of heaven, except the 8 great princes, the honored and revered ones who are called YHWH by the name of their king. And every angel and every prince who has a word to speak in my presence before me shall go into his presence before him and shall speak to him instead. And every command that he utters to you in my name, do ye observe and fulfill. For the Prince of Wisdom and the Prince of Understanding have I committed to him to instruct him in the wisdom of heavenly things and of earthly things, in the wisdom of this world and of the world to come. Moreover, I have set him over all the treasuries of the palaces of Araboy and over all the stores of life that I have in the high heavens. We'll pause here. Chapter 11. If you came here for the commentary, if you came here for the reading of the Bible, the Apocrypha, and the Pseudipigrapha, there you have it. We're here every morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Time with the reading of the Bible, the Apocrypha, and the Pseudipigrapha to determine and examine it on our own, independent of religion, to determine where it serves us on our spiritual journey, or if at all. I want to share with you something in this book. This came to me last night. I've had this book since 2006. Did you notice, mystery school students? Who's here for the mystery school? Mystery school? Mystery school. The Christian Witches Mystery School. If you're here from the Christian Witches Mystery School, let me know. Tomorrow in the Christian Witches Mystery School, we have our first ever book club discussion. And that book club discussion is going to be on Aradia, the daughter of Lucifer and Diana. Hold on, let me get you the link to the mystery school if you would love to join us in the mystery school tomorrow for the first ever Christian Witches Mystery School for the first ever. Here is a link. Come on, Felicia. All right. Okay, Felicia. So we got our book club discussion tomorrow. Felicia, did you notice? Oh my goodness, I cannot wait for us to have this book club discussion. It's so good. The book is sitting on my altar. It's so good. That book is so good. This is my second time going through this book. And I'm going to keep it handy because I'm going to definitely be working some of the spells in this book. Did you notice the Kabbalistic tree of life in what we just read? I want to point out to you, if you did not notice the Kabbalistic tree of life in what we just read, let me tell you exactly where it was. So here, we're just going to do a quickie of the Kabbalistic tree of life. Let me get you to one that has the attributes on it so it'll be easy to see. Okay. Here we go. So everyone knows the Kabbalistic tree of life. This is one version of it where you see that Malkuth directly connects here. And this is another version of it where you see that all three of these Sphero connect to Malkuth. If you do not know what the Kabbalistic tree of life is, join us in the mystery school because I cannot go into a whole, this is a map of the entire universe. It would take me, we don't have the time and days and years for me to tell you what the Kabbalistic tree of life is. There's a portion that I want to share with you. And here's the portion that I want to share with you. Look at this Kabbalistic tree of life. Take a screenshot. Okay, now look at this. Hold on. Look at the first three. Then look at the next three. Then look at the next set. Can you see it? These are 10 Sphero on the tree of life. This is Keter. Keter is crown, or here it says will or oneness. Now, God is not in the tree of life. God is way above the tree of life. Wisdom. Chakma is wisdom. Bina is understanding. Come down here to Kesed. Kesed is mercy or loving kindness. Come over to Gevurah. Gevurah. Gevurah or Gebura is judgment or constriction or justice. Come down here to Tiferet. Tiferet is beauty. Come down here to Nexat. Nexat is here it's called eternity or self-mastery. Hod, splendor. Yesed, here it's called stability or ego. And down here, Malkut is body or kingdom. Now, let me get you the actual words that are used many times to talk about each of these. Hold on. You can see it's diagram after diagram. You can see why I had to work this over and over and over to understand the tree of life. Let me take you to the part where Rabbi Ishmael is describing the tree of life, the Kabbalistic tree of life. Let's go. Here, these are the spheros, the 10 sphero. Could be more on the tree of life. Wisdom, wisdom unto wisdom, that is Hakma. Understanding unto understanding is Bina. Knowledge unto knowledge, mercy unto mercy, and loving kindness unto loving kindness is Hesed. Goodness unto goodness, meekness unto meekness, power unto power is Gevurah. Strength unto strength is Gevurah also. Might unto might. He might be doing 3 of the same. Beauty unto beauty is beauty unto beauty. Brilliance unto brilliance is Netzat. Splendor. Beauty unto beauty is Tiferet. Splendor unto splendor is Netzat. And you can see that he is describing in code the Kabbalistic tree of life. Is that not amazing? Yes, yes, they are triangles. Is that not amazing? So hold on, let me get you my Kabbalistic grimoire. Hold on. And I'm going to show you something from here. What I can show you from here, I can't show you everything from here, obviously. But what I can show you from here, I will show you. Hold on. Because it is very important that we understand this. Here we go. Okay. This is in one of my grimoires. This is a Kabbalistic tree of life grimoire. Keter is crown. Hakma is wisdom. Bina is understanding. Hesed is mercy or grace. Gerura is judgment or justice. Tiferet is beauty. Netzat is victories. Hod is splendor. Yesod is foundation. Malkuth is kingdom. And so what you're seeing Rabbi Ishmael describe is he's describing the tree of life in code. Did you get that, Felicia? You saw the tree of life in here? This is Merkabah mysticism. This is something different. The 3rd book of Enoch is different from Enoch 1 and Enoch 2. Enoch 3 is Merkabah mysticism. Rabbi Ishmael is traveling. What does Merkabah mean? Merkabah means to take flight or travel. That's what the word actually means. Let's go here to this book on Kabbalah. Hold on, page 261. No, actually, I folded it for you. I folded the page. Boom. I folded the page last night for you. Do you see this? Merkabah mysticism. Isn't it deliciousness? Come on, we're going to get to the bottom of this, family. We are mystics around here, magicians, sorcerers, occultists. We are finding out things that people would read and they just don't even know what they're reading. Just reading words, We are occultists around here, okay? The Hebrew root of the word Merkabah or Merkava, you see it right here? The Hebrew root of the word Merkava is Rakav, which means to ride or travel. What are Merkava mystics doing? They are going into a deep, deep meditation And they are traveling to dimensions of consciousness, expanding and expanding, expanding. They're on the astral. We would call it the astral plane, right? They're going on the astral plane. And do you go on the astral plane? Do you travel on the astral plane? Okay, I'm taking my suitcase. I'm going to the astral plane. I'll see you next week when I get back. My flight leaves at. That's not how we travel to the astral plane. As magicians, witches, wizards, when we go into the astral plane, when we go into dimensions beyond, you actually shut down all of your senses. Your body is not involved. Your consciousness is now going. You do this every night because every night your consciousness leaves your body when you dream. You do this every night. And as soon as your body starts to stir, your consciousness comes back to your body so that your body is animated again. While your body is there laying in the bed, your consciousness is all over this freaking universe. It's going anywhere it wants to. It could be like some people say, in the schools in the Teton Mountains with Saint Germain, your soul could be your soul or your consciousness or whatever, however you'd like to frame it or describe it, is going places when you're asleep at night. It's not just you're laying there. Don't believe the materialist people who tell you that, oh, the brain is just having synapses. It's just having synapses, because they literally sought to suck all the mysticism and magic out of every area of life by explaining it scientifically. Well, when one synapse hits another synapse, then you have a dream. Oh, brother. Okay, thank you for describing the 1% part of what happens, because that may be happening. Yes. And beyond that, there's a whole lot more happening. And everyone who does this knows exactly what we're referring to. And the reason I said 1% is because Kabbalah teaches that only 1% of reality can be ascertained with the five senses. The other 99% of reality cannot be ascertained with your five senses, which means you would have to turn off your five senses, which is called meditation. Turn off the five senses, turn off the body obsession that we have. My leg, my arm, my body is doing this all day long. We're so obsessed with the body. Turn off the body obsession. Leave your body in a safe way. Merkaba mystics did not just jump up and say, I'm going to go to the third heaven today. No, they had training. They had teachers. They had schools, private schools, occult schools, where they meditated and meditated. They could have been using plant medicine as well. I don't know. I wasn't in the school that I know of that I can remember in this particular lifetime. Anyway, they had training. Sometimes for decades, you'd have to train your consciousness to be able to leave your body and go to this place and travel safely through the astral plane, where all kinds of entities, we're talking you're past the physical world now. You are in the astral. There are many different types of entities that would love to feed on your soul, feed on your energy, feed on your goodness and your deliciousness. You probably look like this big, juicy, sweet cake when you go past some of these entities that are at the lower levels of the astral. So you must go past them safely. Sometimes you need passwords. Sometimes you need a particular guardian spirit that's going to do it. Sometimes you need a particular ancestor that's going to do it. And you safely get passage past those, and the gates continue to open. And this is what Rabbi El Ishmael is describing to you, that he was able to travel all of these dimensions, and he saw Enoch. These Merkaba mystics were so profound that many of them taught that if you didn't do it right, you would destroy your own self. You could die. You could die. That's what we're talking about when we're looking at Enoch 3. I want us to understand clearly the distinction between Enoch 1, written around 100 to 300 BCE, Enoch 2, reworked, that same material reworked somewhere around the late first century before 70 CE, which is the destruction of the Second Temple, and the third Enoch, which is written in the age of the Merkaba mystics from 300 to 1000 CE, when Merkaba mysticism was morphing and growing and being discussed and being taught and being examined by the rabbis. Some of these rabbis were traveling in consciousness to places that you and I may never see. This is what we did for the Akashic Records. That's exactly right. That's what we're dealing with in this third book of Enoch. That's why you need your footing as an occultist, as a magician, as a witch, as a sorceress, a sorcerer, whatever your practice is. That's why you need the footing in. You need to understand Rosicrucianism, the Rosy Cross. You need to understand Kabbalah. You need to understand the mystical aspects of both Christianity. Christianity has a mysticism. Islam has a mysticism. It's called Sufism. And Judaism has a mysticism. It's called Kabbalah. And all these religions have what we call an exoteric. That means it's what's for the masses. It's what all the masses gets that don't have the rigor and the training of the esoteric. The esoteric are the occultists, the ones who want to know, the ones like us that want to know the secrets to the entire universe, the ones that are meditating and taking plant medicine and reading all these old secret texts and practicing magic and rituals and spells. We're the ones. There's always been people like us. We want to know all the secrets of the universe. That's us. The masses, they're going to church. Hallelujah. Woo, thank you, Jesus. Here's my 10%. See you next Sunday. In the meantime, I'm going to be ratchet, yell at my kids, honk at people on the way out of the church. I'm still in the parking lot, not and forgot what happened in there. These are the masses. These are the muggles. Don't concern yourself. Don't worry about the muggles. They'll find their way eventually. You uplift your consciousness. You go higher and higher and deeper at the same time. Kabbalah teaches the tree of life, the roots match the branches. So the roots have to go deep into the ground to sustain that 40-foot oak tree. You got to go deep into the darkness within yourself, deep into the shadow. Most of the time that an occultist is doing what they spend a lot of time in the inner realms, a lot of time clearing debris, getting rid of old wounds, understanding how to travel the astral plane in a safe manner, communing with their spirit team. Who are the spirits that are working with you right now? The Morrigan is working with me because I'm about to learn some things from Ireland and Scotland. Probably more like Ireland, not necessarily Scotland. The Morrigan is opening my eyes to things. Why did I need the Morrigan? I don't know. I did not call the Morrigan. She sent her ravens to me. And no, actually, she sent her crows to me. The Morrigan sent her crows, and ever since then, it's been on. I mean, they were yelling at me. I could not. I filmed them. I told Jared, I said, Jared, you will not believe these crows. They are all over me. I was in New Orleans last year for the Christian Witches Convention, minding my business. These crows were all over me. Every time I set foot outside, they were following me. I was like, okay, what? All right. What do you want me to know? Because clearly something on the other side is trying to get my attention, and I'm here to help the people and talk to the people, and I'm making the potions and I'm making the spell kits for the Christian Witches Convention. It's coming up Memorial Day weekend. We will be in New Orleans, and the crows. I couldn't even go have breakfast without these crows talking to me. What is it? I was like, okay, I need to understand this. I was looking up videos on YouTube about how crows communicate. I was like, well, that's not it. Then here come the Morrigan. I was like, you can feel it. You know what's for you. That's, oh my goodness, that's it. The Morrigan. You calling me? Yes, come, my daughter. What do you want with me? Because I was over here minding my business with Christian Witchcraft. Yes, we're going to add some more to that. I was like, okay, Morrigan. The Morrigan called me, baby. I would have never went looking for the Morrigan. So you must understand your spirit team, who you're connected with, your ancestral line. I have an ancestral line that goes back to Scotland. I have an ancestral line that goes to Benin, Togo, and Mali, the birthplace of voodoo or Vodun. And my ancestral line goes back to Scotland with the Druids. Understand you? And my ancestral line also has, my father was being Puerto Rican, also has Espiritismo, Puerto Rico, Spiritism. You better understand what's going on in your spiritual DNA. You looking at your blood DNA. What's your spiritual DNA? Who are your spiritual ancestors? How do you find all that out? But close your eyes, put down all the devices, go in nature, and every day, quiet the mind, breathe deeply, and go deep within. That's how you get all this information. You can only get so much from books. You can only get so much from people teaching you on YouTube. You can only get so much from going to a ritual, participating in rituals. Do all that. Do all that. I'm not saying to stop all that. I am saying nothing will replace your own spiritual practice within yourself every day, preferably during the witching hour, which is 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. And I'm going to write a whole article on the Christian Witches Substack about all the things that happened in the Bible during the third watch of the night, 3 a.m. to 6 a.m., which we call the witching hour. 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Many things happen in the Bible. One day I just sat down and said, what is it about this hour that all these things are happening? And I could not believe how many things I found in the Bible that happened between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. I'm not going to talk to you all day because I know we all got things to do. So let me pause it here until 23 hours from now. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Casey out. I love you.